Welcome to the OG YOLK Generation Next podcast. We have our featured guest, Harry Manaka. He's a retired iOS executive now living in Washington State. Prior to beginning his career with the iOS, Harry played in several bands during which he refers to as the Sansei Dance Party era. Sansei is Japanese for a third generation. Harry and his wife Christine also once owned a popular nightclub and restaurant called the Baby Lion Supper Club in Los Angeles, California. He wrote this book, Chronicles of a Sansei Rocker, provides an insider's look at the people, places, and music that went into making the Sansei Dance Party era a unique period in history that it came to be. Let Harry's Chronicles take you on a nostalgic trip down memory lane as you revisit the bands, events, and music that helped shape this era.
Welcome to YOLK, Rehashed. Generation Next, with Larry Tazuma and Sommer Nguyen. YOLK is back.
Okay, guys, welcome to the OG YOLK Generation Next podcast. Right there, that's us. Like and subscribe. And we have Harry Manaka, a sensei rocker, all-star rocker. Yay! All right. I will just, I read your book. I'm going to show it to everybody. I was able to, here you go, guys. I know I'm on a blur to show you that. Okay, this is going to be fun. Okay, anyways, we'll have an image in it. Okay, so Chronicles of Sansei Rocker. I read it based on a referral from Jeff Louie. He is a friend of yours, and I interviewed Jeff Louie and his band Asian Persuasion. And I
enjoyed that, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Oh, Harry. Thank you, Harry. I'm gonna work on this to make sure. But I get memories of all your what you said in the book, what you wrote in the book, and it jumps in my mind every time while I'm talking, and it's a lot because it got me so emotional reading the book, and I can't believe it's been out for how long now?
It's been almost 5 years, I think. Yeah. I have
Yeah.
my second book coming out probably in the fall. It's in the process of being edited.
Wow. Did you know you were a writer?
I didn't, I have never considered myself a writer. I've always considered myself a pretty good storyteller. So what I do is I tell stories and kind of weave it into a book.
Oh, okay.
So, my books are truly just a conglomeration of stories, that I tell.
But you remember these stories. That's crazy. Like it's the details are very distinct and you got all the names right. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong because I wouldn't know, but I'm just saying it's really specific, not just the events, but how you chronologically write your book. It tells us in order of what you experienced of the Sensei rocker days and as a
Yeah.
musician.
Well,
So,
thank you, Summer. I don't take all the credit myself, though. I interviewed probably over 45, 50 people in the course of preparing for the book. When I decided that I wanted to write a book, I realized that my story was intertwined with, other people who did the same thing I did when we were young. And so I started calling around. And, when I was doing that, it was in the midst of the COVID pandemic. So, fortunate for me, everybody was home and everybody had a lot of time to talk. So, I didn't strictly remember all of the facts and all of the people by myself, but I did, I had the benefit of being able to pick other people's minds, and they were very gracious in providing me information
right.
for my book.
hmm I noticed that your we'll go to your origins that you played piano which I think every Asian does. It's a part of our culture or whatever. I find it interesting that musically inclined, did you know you had some talent, or did you just develop the talent based on your perseverance?
Uh, I knew that I had a little bit of talent. I knew that at an early age, I have something called perfect pitch. And, I'm able to listen to a piece or listen to somebody play on the piano, and I will know exactly what notes they're playing. Uh, and so, having that skill helped me out, in my early days, just in terms of being able to pick out melodies or pick out different notes and copy those. So, that discovery I made early on and kind of used it to my advantage, as I continued playing.
So with that, you're saying you didn't even have to read the music sheets.
Oh, I had to read the music,
Oh,
yes, I
okay.
did, but I could play by ear also because I could I could take a record,
Mhm.
listen to the record, and I would know what key the music was being played in
Oh,
and what notes were being played by the different players in the band.
wow.
So
Yeah, that's like a superhuman. Um, I wonder if you can hear eavesdrop people's conversations and pick it up from while you're like far away. It's really cool.
yeah, yeah. So, initially when I was younger, I thought, well, everybody can do that, but
Mhm.
I later learned that, it's like 1 in 10,000. So, yeah.
Did your
I,
parents have any musical
my mother was a good singer, but she never did it professionally or, she would sing in front of crowds, but they would be like at picnics or church and things like that. Uh,
hmm, maybe it
but
came from that. Yeah. Because
yeah, and my brothers and my sister, they had the opportunity to play different instruments and which they did, but they didn't keep up with them. Music like anything else, unless you practice, you're not going to ever get good at it.
no, no. I didn't tell Jeff this, but I was a drummer and
Oh, wow.
yeah, I did piano first, but then my parents made me do classical music. And if they had started me off with rock and roll, I would have kept at it because I'm playing something I like. But classical
Mhm.
music kept putting me to sleep. Did you start with classical music or did
I
you?
did start with classical music and I didn't particularly care for classical music, but in retrospect, I did learn a lot about the fundamentals and the mechanics and the technical aspect of playing the piano by
Hmm.
taking,
Hmm.
by playing classical music. So I'm thankful, now that I'm my age,
Hmm.
looking back that I did actually play classical music.
Yeah, I feel like classical music like Shakespeare for actors. If you know Shakespeare, then it gives you the foundation for the rest of your acting skills if you know when you do that. Um, and you guys, okay, did you guys ever think of doing a music video, or did you just um, film yourself? I know you do covers, but still, is it? Did you think of doing music videos after MTV started?
By the time MTV became popular, we
Mhm.
had stopped playing, and I had stopped playing at that time. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, during the time that we played, I mean, it would have been nice to have these things around
Yeah, I know.
because it would have been so simple to film and to take pictures and everything. So, although I have a pretty good memory of all the things that happened back in, the dance party days,
Mhm.
unfortunately, I don't have historical recordings and historical, pictures and things that, in today's world would be so simple to have.
But the pictures, the black and whites that you have is so like I love black and white pictures, but it tells the story when you do it in the order that you grew up with in the music field that you chose. And
Yeah,
it,
I was lucky that, I we did take pictures, and you're too young to remember this, but back in the days, taking pictures wasn't as easy as it is now. You had to buy film, put it into the camera. You'd have either 12 or 24 shots, and then you'd have to take the film out of the camera and take it to someplace to be developed. And
yeah.
whatever you took, you got. So whether it was a good shot or a bad shot, you had to pay. You paid for it. So luckily, when I was younger, I used to like to fool around with cameras, and so I did take, for my time, quite a few pictures, and
And you got
luckily,
some candid ones too. You got some candid.
yeah, yeah, and I'm fortunate that many of them survived, and those are the ones that made it into my book.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like a lot of people probably assume color and stuff, but the black and whites, it's just seen in the fashion and everything. We'll talk about that later because the fashion's funny. In the 70s, look, I am older than I look, but
How
I
old are you?
dude, like I'm gonna tell people how old I am. I'm in my 50s. So,
Are you kidding? I would have guessed 20s.
yeah, but that's why you're wearing glasses. I am too. We both need to see more clearly. Harry, so when you did the uh when you started doing playing the piano, and then you started going dancing, so what moves can you do? Like which one did you like better?
I never was a dancer, Summer. It
Are you
was
serious? Oh
I
my
would
God.
go because I enjoyed the music, and I always, initially I used to go to the dances to watch the bands. And finally when I did get my chance to play in a band, then I was always up on stage, so I never was down on the ground dancing. Uh,
And you didn't want to like even wow, that I've seen that though. I've seen a lot of musicians who don't dance or DJs who don't dance and stuff, and I'm like, it's so amazing how you guys can play such like precise music, and I guess you move kind of on the stage. Did you guys do a lot of moves just to because
well, at our age, we don't move as well as we used to.
yeah.
But yeah, we used to, move around, and my wife likes to say I dance like a white boy. And she doesn't mean that as a compliment either.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's funny. I
yeah.
yeah, your marriage is very how do you say inspiring in the fact that you guys stayed through everything your development and I mean after you got really famous but you managed to find somebody normal and supply and support you emotionally and mentally and
Yeah. Well, she was actually a semi-groupie. She and her girlfriends would come to see us wherever we were playing at, and I didn't know she was out there, but we met at a house party,
mm,
and we've been married for 51 years now. So,
mhm. My parents
well,
beat you. My parents are at 56, but yeah, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, yeah.
And you
And
guys go,
Jeff and his wife Lorraine have been married even longer. I think they're going on 60 years.
oh my God, Jeff has a lot of energy. He has a childlike heart when I talk to him in a group actually.
He does, he does. I love him to death.
Aw.
Jeff's a good guy. He and I have been friends since high school.
Uh-huh.
So, we've known each other, oh gosh, 65, 70 years.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a huge crush on his older sister, Fran.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Of course, she was probably 5 or 6 years older than us, so she thought. I mean, I'm sure she thought I was a young punk, but yeah, she was. Yeah, I had a crush on her, as a young boy.
Don't worry, it's okay. My husband's younger than me, so I can understand why why men like older women. Like, so when you since you knew Jeff for a long time, did you guys, how come you guys didn't go do a band together? Is it?
Well, I knew Jeff played. I think he played woodwinds. I'm thinking sax.
Mhm.
Uh, but I had no idea he was interested in being in a band. And at the time, I wasn't in a band. I loved to listen to music and I loved to go see music, but I had no idea I was going to later be in a band. Uh, but secretly, that was something I've always wanted to do.
When you went through school, I mean, the amount of time you guys spent studying and then also practicing, it was a miracle that you managed to like be this good and lasting this long. So, how did you balance your school? Because I don't know if it was the same back then, but nowadays or kids nowadays, my friends have kids and they have to focus on school, like AP classes and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure your grandkids are like top level tier, uh, and all that with classes. How did you do that? How did you balance that?
Well, for Jeff and myself, I can't speak for Jeff,
Of
but
course. Yeah.
I remember him. I mean, we used to hang out just about every day. I'd say, we weren't brilliant, but we weren't dumb. We weren't dumb either. So, I
Yeah.
think, we made fairly decent grades and, fortunately, went on to college and, had the fortune of, attending college and graduating. So, just to have that opportunity, and I'm sure our parents, well, I know my parents didn't have that opportunity. So
Mhm.
I'm thankful to have been able to go to school and at least have the opportunity to do that and have an opportunity to graduate and go on and get a good job. So, and I'm sure Jeff feels the same way.
Hmm. I'm gonna,
But
oh, go ahead.
but like I said, we were smart, but we weren't top tier.
I was,
Sorry, Jeff.
no, I just think it's funny, all the pressure, but back then it was a little looser, right? Your parents were like, gave you more space to do musical endeavors.
Yeah, I think so. My parents encouraged me to play the piano and get involved in music. They also emphasize academics, but not as rigorously as parents nowadays. I think parents nowadays need to give their kids a little bit of space to just be kids and grow up.
Yep.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But you have experience raising two generations with your grandkids. I don't have no experience because I got no kids. So they're not going to take my advice. Um, um, Going back to your book, I find that I'm focusing on you because I find that the book, half the book was focusing on other people. and it's very generous of you to do that, to write a lot of times. I've noticed that actually I've read three books so far. I'm not saying I haven't read any books before then, but but I read I read three books and I noticed that, and in the all Asian books so far, Nancy Kwan, Kyu Jin, and your book. So when I'm gonna go through some of your books so that in case people watch this, they're like, hey, tell us more about your book. So you are a sensei, and um, I
Sansei.
Sansei?
San means three.
Mhm.
Sansei, third generation.
Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Sansei. And I wanted to know how come, like, maybe I didn't ask the Koreans or the Chinese, but um, I don't think Vietnamese people have that, like this fancy word of generations. And so I was wondering, like, uh, when you learned about that, how you are a Sansei, did you feel like that? And then you said Yansei won't be happening.
Yeah, my grandparents,
Mhm.
who were the original immigrants from Japan, are called Issei, which means
Mhm.
first generation. My parents, who were born here in the United States, are called Nisei, which
Mhm.
means second generation.
Mhm.
And I'm Sansei, which is third generation. And my kids are Yonsei, which means fourth generation. Now, after my kids, it's going to be, and not just for my family, but
Everybody, yeah.
there's more intermarriage.
Mhm.
Asians with other Asians, Asians with whites, Asians with other races.
Mhm.
So there is not a likelihood that there will be, the Gosei, which would be the fifth generation, although there are some. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
Uh, and that's not a bad thing. Yeah, mixing of the races is not a bad thing in my mind.
Right,
Uh,
right. I agree with you. But you
yeah.
can't, but even when you mix it, you can't, like, literally, you can't say go say later, huh? Even if they mix it, they won't.
Yeah, yeah, it would be difficult. Yeah.
I was like, oh, why can't you? Okay. And you found when your parents immigrated, we'll talk
It's
about.
my grandparents that
Yeah.
immigrated.
I'm sorry, your grandparents immigrated here. Um, Looking at their story, or anybody who comes to a new country, building a life and stuff, it's quite challenging. And on top of that, you guys had the internment um, situation, crisis, and I saw movies about it, but I really didn't in a series, but they really haven't done as many stories about that as much as they should, just to kind of like remind people of the historical error this country has made, right? So when you feel like you're making your mark in this country with your music, did you guys do any cover songs with in Japanese?
We did.
Mhm.
I was in addition to my original band called Something Else,
Mhm.
I was with a band called Long Time Coming. And it was an all Japanese American Sansei band. And we actually did get an invitation, which we took to play in Japan for a summer, the
Right.
summer of 1972. And while we were there, in
Yeah.
addition to just doing, rock and roll American covers,
Hmm.
we did some Japanese covers too. And Howard Hiyoshida, who is a dear friend, Howie Hiyoshida, who is a dear friend of mine,
Hmm.
uh, he had a talent, well, he still has the talent of being able to sing
Uh-huh.
in Japanese and sound very realistic, or like he's a native Japanese speaker.
Wow, that's
But
amazing.
he's doing most of that singing phonetically, so he doesn't know what he's singing, but he's got the right pronunciation and everything.
Right, right. Well, as long as you got the right pronunciation, because I pronunciation's hard. Um, and do you guys do backup? Do you do backup singing? Uh,
Yeah, we do.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, so you can sing because you said in the book you can't sing per se.
Well, I've tried it before, and it's painful. And I always say, why sing when you have people that actually do it well in
Yeah.
the group? Yeah. So, everybody has their specific talents and their specific responsibilities in a band. And, I always like to say that uh, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Hmm.
Meaning, I don't care how good you are as an individual virtuoso, if if you try to show off too much, then it's not as good as if you try to make sure you blend with the band and, play for the good of the group. So, I always like to surround myself with musicians
Hmm.
who are willing to sacrifice and play for the good of the group. And that's always served us well.
Yeah, no, I always, when I listen to people sing, I always wonder how do they make themselves balanced so that one doesn't sound too high or one,
Yeah.
that's an interesting, uh, I always wondered about that. And now I understand that you choose to play with people who do that to respect each other's performances. Let's go. I got this much. Oh, you can't even see that, dang it. Okay, so the JA social scene, Japanese American social scene in the 60s and 70s, where you played something else in the formation of the dance clubs of the sororities and fraternities. So you guys did a lot of what they call back in my day, in the 90s, it was promoting. You were promoting with something you called bids in your book. And is bids just like is parties? Is bids just parties or you guys just
The term bids originated in World War II.
hmm
The dances that were held in the Japanese American internment camps,
hmm
you know, uh, the tickets to the dances used to be called bids. And I was never able to find the genesis or the reason why they were called bids.
Hmm.
And the term bids carried over into the Sansei Dance Party era. So, when I was playing, uh, the organizations that were promoting these dances would call their tickets bids. And I think it was just in kind of following through with the terminology that was used, in the internment camps.
Oh, oh. So people dance in the internment camps? Oh,
They did surprisingly, they had a robust social scene in the
oh.
internment camps. That's how
Uh-huh.
my dad met my mom.
That's sadly romantic that anybody can meet their life partner in prison or
That's
in the
true.
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, so the dances were at Parkview Women's Club and Roger Young Auditorium. I was Googling some places that you mentioned to see if they're still in business, right? Because I don't know, maybe they lasted this long. But something else. How did you guys come up with that name? And that was your most free, that was the band that you stayed longest, right? Would you say?
Yes, yes. Well, people used to come around and say, "You cats are something else,"
Mhm.
like in appreciation of our music, and that name kind of stuck with the band.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you thought of other people who say something else. It's like you're giving them an option to listen to something else. I was like, okay, that's a good name. But yeah, I use that word now because I like the language of the 50s and 40s. So I actually say those cats are cool and stuff like that. And
Yeah, yeah.
I love the language back then. And the popular dances at the time were cha-cha-cha, mashed potato, the pony. Did you ever see that one dance, the nitty gritty?
The nitty-gritty, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There
that was.
was one dance that I thought was probably the most amusing of the era. It was called the jerk.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah. It sounds
yeah,
bad too.
yeah. I don't even want to try to show you that move, but it was semi-vulgar and it was just odd,
Yeah.
uh, but it
It,
was popular.
it's actually, I think it came back under the word twerking. So I don't
Twerk,
know. Yeah.
very similar, twerking, yes.
No offense to twerkers. Okay. So yeah, the Holy Goalie, and the funny part is that when you watch all these dances, uh I guess with you, because you being a musician, you don't have to dance to get a girl. My husband says that he danced to get a woman, and so you didn't have to 'cause you played an instrument. You can serenade them and stuff, right?
It's a good thing I was in the band because I couldn't dance worth a lick. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you guys do during the intermission? Because you said that there's sometimes 2 to 3 bands during the night.
For me, I would listen to the other bands.
Mm,
I and that's where I developed a lot of the relationships with the other musicians in the other bands. Is I would go to see them play, and I just truly enjoyed that. You know, I always had questions. If I had a question about how somebody was playing something, or what chords they were using, I thought shared information quite readily. And I have another term: a rising tide lifts all ships. I always felt that, we weren't in competition with each other, and that, as each one of us kind of got better, then the others got better too, which raised the level of performance of all of us.
mm.
And that could only benefit us all if we did that. So, I like that.
I find that interesting because that's what YOLK is trying to do right now. OG YOLK is trying to elevate everybody, and um, whoever can be elevated will promote other people as well. You're supposed to kind of like help the people below you. And I've heard that a lot of actors say that, or producers say that, all that time. But you truly have to do it by talking about other people, because that's how they get elevated as well. And
Yeah. It
especially,
goes back to the concept of, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
yeah.
And, when you surround yourself with people who have that same attitude
Hmm.
and that same philosophy, you really can put on a good show and put a good product on stage. And I truly believe that it does, you know, kind of raise us all up when we promote each other and help each other out.
Yeah. And it also gives variety to,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, the band of something else was you, Harry Manaka, Royce Jones, Dennison Robinson, um, Nick Urutia, Bob Flores, and David Jenger. So um, you guys, oh, I gotta speak about how you you had a lot of photos that had you very hairy. What made you shave off all that hair?
It comes and it goes, Summer. I tell you. In fact, last week I had a beard.
Really?
I was in Hawaii and I had a beard, and I said, do I want to go on Summer's show with a beard? I said, I don't want to scare her. So,
No, it's a good chameleon effect. You look different right now than the way you did before.
yeah, yeah, but it does come and it goes. It goes. So, yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes well, let's put it this way. Most of the time these days, I do have a beard
really.
because, it's tedious to get up in the morning and have to shave every morning. So
I,
it's better just to let it grow out. And so most of the time when I'm just hanging around the house, you know, uh, doing nothing, or just hanging around with my wife,
mhm.
I have a beard.
Mm. I
Yeah.
have the same problem, but only my eyebrows. You have to.
Well, my eyebrows are extremely bushy,
Uh,
and my barber, she's a Vietnamese barber.
uh,
Um, she keeps wanting to wax my my eyebrows, and I keep telling her no.
That's
So
funny.
she keeps saying, one time, let me do it one time, and you'll see. And I said, no, no,
No, the natural look is better. Uh, and oh, congratulations for I think you said you went to the wedding in Hawaii.
Yeah, we did. It was wonderful. Yeah, it was at a place called the Sunset Ranch, which is on the north shore of Oahu,
Hmm.
and my niece and her husband couldn't have picked a better location.
She could
It
have
was
picked a
wonderful.
cheaper location. Does she live there?
No, she doesn't. It was, a destination wedding.
Oh
So,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Ours is a destination garage at my mom's house. So when you that was like a reunion, right? Family reunion for you.
a little bit. Yeah, yeah. We have a much bigger family, but, our immediate, the brothers and sisters from my parents, a lot of us were there.
Yeah. You did say that your brother played a little bit for the bands, some of the bands before. And I'm curious, how come you guys never started a band yourself? You could have like a family band, like the Partridge Family. You guys,
We did play together, but we used to play in church, and then I'm 4 years older than one brother and 6 years older than another. So just age-wise, we weren't close together. So most of the people that I played with were my age,
hmm.
but we did play in church. So yeah.
Would you say the church audience was a lot more, what is that word? Compassionate about your music? Uh,
And it's hard to say, it was so long ago that we played together. I can't remember.
Tough.
They didn't boo us off the stage,
That's
so
for sure. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah,
One of the things you called Voice Jones is the voice with the voice, which is funny. That's a good way of saying it.
yeah. Royce the Voice.
And you guys did, I mean, I have so much information on you right now. I'm gonna jump around here. And you had what I find is hilarious is that you guys made Denny's a happening place back then. Right now, I can't even eat at Denny's because I'm a food snob. How do you, how, not to say it's not bad food, sorry, Denny's, but I'm just saying that I like more. I'll just stop. So how did you choose Denny's?
Well, the Asian Hangout, which was in the Crenshaw area,
Mhm.
was used to be a place called Holiday Bowl. And
Yes.
it was frequented mostly, well, it was frequented by people of all races and nationalities. And, they would serve anything from Chinese and Japanese food you know, uh, to soul food there. So
Amazing. That's amazing.
it
Yeah.
was always crowded. And so when it was too crowded, people started going over to Denny's,
Hmm.
which was in downtown LA. And it was on the corner of Vignes. Well, it was on Vignes Street in downtown LA. And
Hmm.
people, when I mentioned Denny's on Vignes, they immediately recognized that place. And they had to hire additional staff as well as open up the back room to accommodate all of the overflow from the Asian dances that would go there.
Wait, so you sing Denny's or the Hollywood Bowl, Holiday Bowl, Denny's, who made the Asian food?
Well, at Holiday Bowl, it was either people from Hawaii or some of the older Asians that brought over recipes from Hawaii or
Oh.
traditional Japanese and
Mhm.
Chinese recipes that cooked there. Denny's was strictly
American.
American food, yes,
Mhm.
yeah, but it was a happening place, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a fast food diner. That's that's probably um
Yeah, yeah.
but now
The manager at Denny's told us that after we started bringing the crowd into, the Denny's there over on Vignes, that he had to hire a whole additional shift and open up, that back room on a regular basis.
right. I think you brought a lot of business to different businesses through the bids and everything. It's like a bunch of different organizations that join together so that you can have a safe space to socialize and listen to music and dance, basically. And back then, were people smoking inside those venues?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Oh,
I mean, there
so
were probably, I'd say there were more smokers than there were non-smokers.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
My parents said smoking would stunt my growth, and I didn't smoke, but I'm still 5 feet. Yeah, still 5 feet tall though. So does that mean that when you guys do that, do you smoke?
I don't. Yeah.
Good
Oh,
for you.
well, I don't smoke, didn't smoke cigarettes, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I read that part too.
Yeah, yeah.
I think life experience. So Pop, so one of the things I wanted to ask you is like I felt like you created a lot of relationships along your journey as a musician that you don't really talk too much about the crowds, but you talk about your relationships with everybody that's even restaurants, um, other musicians, even event planners. So there is a Atomic Cafe, which is a great name, but I think it's gone, right? Atomic Cafe, because I looked it up, and
Yeah, it's gone.
yeah, it's such
It's a,
a
it used to be a wonderful hangout, though.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great name for a cafe because it's part of the mid-century era that I love. Um, but they had like Blondie, the Ramones, and the Midnighters. Uh, I was wondering with your friend Tepeyac,
El
um,
Tepeyac.
yeah, thank you. How much Mexican food did you eat over there?
I have been going to El Tepeyac since I was in high school, and I still go to El Tepeyac. I've been there a few times this year too,
I'm gonna
and
try it because of your book. I'm gonna try it because I love Mexican food
oh,
too.
I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's they serve I think the best Mexican food that I've ever had. Yeah,
Wow, that's
and,
big
and
word.
I love their menudo. You know what menudo is?
Yes, I've heard about it and the band, but yeah, I've heard menudo. I haven't tried it yet. I've tried only birria. I like the tacos of anybody and beef tongue. Do you do?
Yeah, yeah. I like beef tongue too,
Yeah. Uh,
but I love menudo.
yeah. This is not a
Tripe stew.
vegetarian show, huh?
It's made out of tripe, which turns some people off, but I mean, it's just an animal part. If you eat steak, you're eating part of the animal too.
Yeah. Do you eat tripes and
I
those?
do.
Oh my
I I,
God.
I love tripe in my pho.
What about chicken feet?
Chicken feet, yeah.
Oh my God, you have no boundaries.
Except there's not much feet. There's not much meat on chicken feet.
I know. That's why it's like hard to see people eat that because you're like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how people eat that.
I like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't bother you like it's like walking around like it would, like it looks like. Okay. So, how did you ever meet these bands when you were there in the Atomic Cafe?
Kind of just in passing or casually. Yeah.
That's amazing. That
Yeah.
uh we are a fan of the Ramones too. Blondie. I like probably most 80s music too. I feel like 80s music was influenced by the 50s music, kind of like it just converted over to 80s because the beats and the pacing and tone is almost the same and it's always original. Um uh
Yeah.
I'm not let's go to that part. How are you and you don't have to answer the question, but how are you about a fan of music today?
I enjoy, some of it, but if you were to ask me who plays that or who sings that, I'm not, I don't keep up with music, like that. But a lot of the music today, I find it's difficult to interpret the lyrics.
Yes, I agree.
It's like
Uh-huh.
I listen, I think, what are they singing there? Or what are they saying there? So.
I can't hear the lyrics. My husband can hear it, but not me. I can't.
Yeah. You know,
Like,
my daughters and my son, they sing along to the songs, but I can't figure it out. So if I can't sing along to a song, then usually I don't care for it.
yeah. Uh, there's only a few songs right now that are pretty good in terms, especially film soundtracks are pretty good because they pick out old music, but also some new music that isn't popular because it's not played in a concert. Uh, a lot of musicians came back and played on concert to regenerate more or how you say it, rejuvenate the following they had back in the day because their music still stands. It's almost classics. Even 80s
Hmm.
music is classics. And when you guys come back on stage now as a mature man, how do you how
I
do you
don't, you can say old man.
uh, I called Jeff Louis an Asian persuasion elderly man, but
Well,
if
we're of that same generation,
yeah.
so I guess I fall into the elderly category.
Yeah, I only said that because I knew him better by the time I interviewed him. With you, I just met you, so I just didn't want to be rude. Uh, so yeah, I think that's cool though. Elderly, the thing with the stigmatism of elderly, my parents are 82, 83 years old. So they say, and they still dance. My dad and mom sing at their,
Oh, good for them.
yeah, they, I know that one time I said, "Oh, you guys are singing karaoke." My dad said, "No, it's not karaoke." So he was offended. So he he knows that it's basically my parents are enjoying their life and they have the energy for it. Uh,
Good for them.
yeah, and I feel like that's the same for you and all your bandmates. It's like if you have the love for that kind of uh, not just love for playing it for the audience, but you have love for the music. It really keeps your spirit uh, young to the way I see it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, Summer, I am so grateful that people still come to see us, and I'm honored, in fact, that people still find value in coming out to see us and enjoying themselves. And by seeing them enjoy themselves,
Hmm.
it brings me great pride and enjoyment myself. And I tell all the people in my band, I said, we should never take that for granted.
Hmm. Hmm.
That is an honor to be able to still get up there and do that and still have an audience enjoy it. So I'm living the dream.
I'm gonna see you guys in September, I think. If it's the Kona, Hawaii, or I don't know, like something in LA. Jeff said they're playing this playing in September.
Oh yeah, they play more frequently than we do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't have anything scheduled, and part of it is due to the fact that my wife has had something called AFib, atrial fibrillation of her heart,
Oh,
and but she had an operation or a yeah, she had an operation last month, and
oh, so it's
she's
still
on the
new.
road to she's on the road to recovery. So we're thankful for that, and as long as she's well, then I feel comfortable scheduling, a new show. I felt a little uncomfortable,
Mhm.
when she was undergoing the AFib
Of course.
because it would cause me to have to be away from home in order to produce another show, and I was afraid of leaving home here. We live up in the Seattle area, and most of our rehearsals, well, all of our rehearsals are done down in California. So to be able to do that, I would have to leave her alone, and I didn't want to do that. But now that she's better and on the road to recovery, I feel more comfortable, and I'm ready to get the show back on the road, so to speak.
Hmm. Does she come with you?
She comes to the shows. She doesn't come for
Practice.
rehearsals and things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I look forward to meeting her.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have some female singers, Brown Rice. Okay, back in the day, they named a band Brown Rice. Would you say that is it a little, I mean, I'm not trying to be I hate the word woke, but is Brown Rice a little little racist? Like I don't know why. I don't know if I'm
I never thought of it that way,
Mhm.
but I'm of the opinion that if you say something or do something or name something that offends anybody, then maybe you should think about changing that.
Mm,
So, you know, I don't like to I don't like to do anything or say anything that offends anybody. So, there's room in the language to be able to change that. But, I didn't, or I don't take particular offense at Brown Eye.
right. I don't know if I'm overthinking it. It's just because
Yeah.
I'm a different generation, so it's just like I I don't
But
I
now
don't
that you
even
mention it, now
eat
that you mention it, if if I were in a group called Brown Eye,
rice,
I would
brown
think
rice.
about renaming it.
Yeah, yeah. Something else is good because it's not, it doesn't, I think the problem with today's everything is or not problem, but maybe I should say it's the focusing on color. It's like it's too much, a lot of focus on color. So it's you know, like, so Harry, you did long time coming. You performed in Japan for the first time. What was it like at the Penthouse Club for when you played for 2 months? I know you were homesick. So,
Oh, I wasn't homesick. There
oh,
were members of the group who were homesick, though. In fact, I tried to get a band together to go back.
yeah,
And
that's true.
uh,
That's true. You did.
yeah, and at the time, I would hope that the political nature of what's happening with the country of Japan is has improved. But the Japanese in the group, myself and the female singer Tina
Yeah.
Fujino,
Hmm.
we were able to get our visas renewed and our all our paperwork
Hmm.
approved. But the Caucasians in the
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
were denied. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact reasons were, but it looked extremely racist to me.
Yeah. It's implied.
Yeah,
Yeah. Especially when you've been there, that you have history playing there. So,
yeah.
uh, I noticed when I went to Japan last year, I went with my husband for the first time, and I love that country. The food, the cleanliness, everything. But I noticed that they do swing dancing a lot over there. We almost went one night, but we couldn't. It was it was so fascinating. I bought two dresses over there because I buy I buy mid-century dresses. No, I mean I buy 1950s dresses. I have vintage dresses. And so I was so sad when I couldn't do swing dancing there. And but going back to you, the fact that you went to Japan, you did you feel that eating in Japan back then, um, they had sushi back then too, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So, was it better than here at the time? Because was sushi even here in that time
eh,
period?
yes, it was. Yeah, sushi's been around for as long as I've been here,
Coffee.
and I thought there are places here in America that are as good as the Japanese sushi places.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's good fish is good fish, and if you cut it the right way and present it the right way, then it could be just as good anywhere you go.
Mm. Do people, I mean, this is racist a little bit too, but they do it to me all the time. Do they think you know the best Japanese food? Like, because you're Japanese?
Yeah, sometimes I think you know people will look at me as the the Asian expert or something.
Yeah, the guiding light to
Yeah, the guiding light. Yeah, but
um, I
yeah.
I actually do know good Vietnamese food, and that's why I don't want to eat anywhere that isn't good. So
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I lead it. But I don't cook it all the time, so I don't know. So you picked up a new instrument. You did piano keyboard first, right?
I did. I took piano lessons. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you found the Hammond B3 through Booker T. Jones and Green Onion is like one of my favorite songs too.
Oh
We
yeah, yeah. I started out on an instrument called the Farfisa Combo Compact, which was like a little suit. No, I don't have one here, but
Mhm.
I have a smaller keyboard that I practice on. But I always longed for the big sound, which was the Hammond organ. And the problem with the Hammond is it weighs like close to 500 pounds. So it's not meant to be toted around on
Yeah, yeah.
one night stands.
Uh,
But, I convinced the other members in the band that we needed one.
mm.
So I started playing almost probably within a year or about a year after I started playing in something else. I got myself a Hammond B3 and
Yeah,
started.
you gotta what do you call it? A hookup for all the instruments that you had through your friend. Or is
We did through Maury's Music, which was
Mhm,
in Long Beach,
mhm.
but they didn't. Hammond organs were only sold through either privately or through Hammond dealerships. Dealers that sold that brand Hammond, and they stopped making it in the 50s. So they there aren't that many left anymore. But if you notice, like all of the shows like American Idol or
Mhm.
Dancing with the Stars or any of the like award shows,
Mhm.
they usually use, or even the late night shows, they'll use a Hammond organ up there. It just fills a lot of sound.
So they have an updated version then, that means.
No, no, it's an old Hammond because they don't make them anymore,
Oh my God. So
or at least they don't make them the way they used to. They make electronic smaller versions.
copy. So that means you still have one? You have a collectible?
I don't. When we play shows,
Mhm.
I use a company called Auntie M's Music
Mm,
that actually takes the organ to the place we're playing at, sets it up for me. At
mm,
the end of the show, they tear it down
mm.
and haul it away. So, it's for an old guy like me, well, for a bunch of old guys like us, it saves the wear and tear on our body when
Of course, of course.
we have somebody that will bring the organ in and set it up for me and tear it down at the end of the show.
At our age, we cannot have any freak accidents because it takes like years to recover.
Summer, you're a youngster.
I get senior citizen status and I'm gonna take advantage of it all. Like
Of course, yeah, yeah.
so one of the things I noticed you said that Beaudry is more like Grateful Dead. You mentioned a lot of bands. I mean, I think I could do Google spreadsheet on all the bands that you've listed of that time period. And
I love them all too. I
yeah,
really do.
yeah. And you said Grateful. I don't know who. I mean, I know who Grateful Dead is, but I don't listen to the music. So, um, uh, I think the band name is pretty funny because you're being grateful dead. So that makes no sense to me sometimes, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so when you
One of these days, Summer,
Hmm,
Google Grateful Dead, and their music is still on YouTube. So
copy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they have a small, no, really large following. They're massive. They're a massive band. Uh, so you own the Baby Lion Club. Let's talk about like how all your you have a you have like a career history that changed over time. You started
Are
in
you saying I can't hold a job?
I don't know how you change. It takes a different mentality to change your focus to something outside of a creative element. So you did Baby Lion, which I know that holds a, a traumatic experience for you. And Baby Lion and is such a cute name. It actually sounds more like a kid store. So, but you
Yeah.
guys changed it to a nightclub. And um, you and Chris when I don't know if you don't
Well,
have to answer this.
my partner David Jingle was instrumental too in the Baby Lion.
Exactly. Before we get into his heartwarming story and heart-wrenching, I wanted to talk to you about Chris being a bartender. Does she have a license or you guys just jumped in?
Well, up until the mid 70s,
Uh-huh.
women were not allowed to tend bar in LA County.
Wow, that's
I
crazy.
don't think many people know that, but
Oh,
so Chris was one of the very first female bartenders in LA County.
wow, that's
And
historical. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
And
I think,
Asian. And Asian.
yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, and the funny thing about it was Chris does not drink or she doesn't care for alcohol,
Me too.
but but she can mix up any drink that you ask her to. So, you
Uh,
know, she learned a lot on the fly and very quickly, and became very proficient at bartending.
right. When she does her recipes and concoctions, uh, no one complained about it, even though was it known that she didn't drink before the customers came in, or did they like tell her after?
Oh, I don't know. She didn't keep it a secret or anything, but
Yeah.
I don't think, she told everybody that came in, hey, I don't know anything about these drinks, but I'm going to mix one up for you.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. No, tell her I'm in her same boat. I sold alcohol. I sold wine and alcohol and cigarettes, but I didn't do any of that. So I totally get it. So I understand how.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh,
Um, so you guys had taxi dancers, gamblers, bookie, and you had to kind of like pay a side of protection to the alcohol company. Oh, what do you call it? Alcohol division of LA County.
yeah, it's called the ABC,
Yeah,
Alcoholic and Beverage Commission. Yeah.
yeah, gangsters. Um,
Well, they weren't gangsters, but they were not very ethical.
oh, back then.
Yeah, yeah.
We add
I
that
don't know
in.
how I don't want to cast aspersions on whoever holds those jobs now, but back then it was
Mhm.
very unethical.
Oh, people in power, that happens a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I find this interesting that you had sign language students come into your bar. And
A lot of them, yes.
yeah, I find that very interesting. Can you still sign?
I can, I can do the alphabet and everything, but my wife and my sister were very proficient at it, and I don't know how proficient now, but
Mhm.
I think that that made a lot of the deaf community feel welcome at our place, and
Of course.
they used to tell me that they would come in for the music, and I would always ask them, You can't hear the music," and they
Yes.
said they could actually hear the beat or feel the beat
Mhm.
through the foundation of the bar.
Just like the way
So
you can hear music when you can play music. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So and it's back to my philosophy is, everybody wants to be treated well and befriended. So I always thought the Baby Lion was a place where everybody knew your name.
Mhm.
And
You're the cheers bar before cheers.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And we welcome people from all walks of life, including, the deaf community.
Yeah.
And
Um,
we still keep in touch with a lot of those folks. So yeah,
oh,
I'm proud of that fact. In fact,
uh, you
yeah,
guys should have some type of celebration reunion, but in honor of David, because it's just like the fact that you keep him, you his spirit alive and his name alive, just after, that everybody these days are trying to be remembered, but they haven't done anything that contributes to anything substantial. Not I shouldn't say everybody, but I'm saying most people who want to be famous has to contribute something more. Either I don't know, um, like something to the society that changes in a positive way. That's the OG Yoke situation here that I try to bring out to present a positive light to whoever and have them contribute something to the community, which is a big deal because communities can only thrive from positive action.
yeah,
So I find that you keep that with David staying in your life, even though it hurts you. It's like I don't. It's yeah. When I read that part, that surprised me because you described that whole experience so vividly and yeah, and it kind of broke my heart to see that happen to Mr. Jingo and uh
he
at some
was 27 years old when he was shot and killed. And I'll tell you, Summer, that it still hurts to this day. It's the biggest regret of my life that I couldn't do something to save him.
oh,
Here I am, I'm 78 years old. He was 27 when he passed, and he had his whole life ahead of him. And,
no, he had
I've had the good fortune of having a long and happy marriage.
hmm
I have 3 kids, and, I have grandkids, and he never got to experience any of that. And, for me, I put some of the blame for that happening on myself. And I know people have said, well, there was nothing you could have done about it. And, they, I think, try to assuage me or make me feel better. But I'll tell you, it's like I beat myself up all the time thinking, what could I have done
hmm
to make that not happen? You know?
hmm
And yeah, to this day, it still hangs over my head.
well the thing about how you wrote how also his mother was being so gentle with you.
Yes.
Under other circumstances, the parents always blame their friends around them, And I think the whole point is that David and his family were meant to be around you and to experience whatever you experience in your life. And I don't know. Well, I think it's because I lost some my brother too, so I understand what's happening to you. But I think it's beautiful that you wrote him in the book and continue to give him tribute because then he knows that I he's happy that you lived your full life because I don't think he's a selfish person, even though I don't know him. I think he would love you to have a full life when he doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
There
like
have been people, there have been religious people who told me that he lives on through me, and that's is somewhat comforting to me because I miss him dearly. He had his whole life to live before him, and it got snatched from him in an instant. And
yeah, he sounded fun. You guys
oh yeah,
besides the cigarette bomb thing, I don't agree to, but yeah, the everything else, he seemed like a real punkster guy who likes to um enjoy life and all that. And I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sorry for you. No matter how many decades, um, I really think that you will never get past it anyways. So I feel like making a tribute in your book about him and keeping his memory alive, I think that makes it as your children would do, keeping your memory alive as a Sansei rocker. I think that honors anybody when they do that.
Yeah,
It's really and I thank you for mentioning him because otherwise I wouldn't have known about him if it wasn't for you.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It it it's very important to me that people not forget who he was. And for as long as I live, and as long as I have anything to say about it, I will keep mentioning his name, and I will keep his memory alive in the things that I do. Uh, and I feel like I honor him in that way, but also I really do feel that he lives on through me.
yeah.
So that brings me some comfort.
And you have Chris. Chris also experienced him as well
Yes.
through you. So she and you have the bridge for David to you hold it up. So anyways, yeah. I'm sorry. It's just like it was so. I love the story about him. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. He was a great guy.
Okay.
And he was a ladies' man. He was a handsome guy, you know. Yeah.
Ladies' man is not a good thing sometimes. I want you to know. That's not good. I guess if you want to say popular with the women,
He
sure.
was very
Man,
popular with the women, yes.
yeah. Um, so you guys had a chance to you met Sam Cooke's nephew. I love Sam Cooke. Um, he has I think somebody loves sometime was I forgot the title, Cry to Me, all those songs. I love all his songs. Sam Cooke.
Mhm.
So you met
Wow.
RB Greaves, and he wrote a song for you, but you rejected it. You said,
But we thought it was too bubblegum.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny that you guys think it's bubblegum, and but you guys are in a time period where there was some innocence in that
Yeah, yeah.
year. Yeah. Uh,
So, we had our chances, I think, but I always felt that we had the capability of doing that. We had the capability of going beyond what we did, but I, I I've never regretted, overall what we did in our lives.
I enjoy that you just move forward and move on. So
Hmm.
you mentioned that Hiroshima is one of the first bands to be signed to a label and go mainstream, and they're friends with you. Again, um, uh, and you also worked with for the Sansei All-Star Group, which brought you back after the tragedy with Gerald Ishibashi,
Yes.
if I'm saying it right, Ishibashi.
Ishibashi, yes.
Thank you. Who ended up being a future concert promoter, anyways. So,
Yeah, yeah.
he, but he played an instrument.
Yeah, he plays the guitar and he sings.
Mhm. So so you guys never do a soloist. Like you guys never let each person do a soloist and at the end.
We usually play ensemble together.
Hmm.
So, I mean, we have all the members in our group play solos
Copy.
within the context of the music that we're playing. Uh, but as I said before, I pick our band members
Mhm.
to make sure none of them are show-offs. All of them play well. Let's,
Yeah,
make no doubt about it. They are good musicians,
yeah.
but none of them will show off at the expense of the band.
Yeah, so no egos.
No egos.
Yeah. Um, all right. Your musical talent aside, and the fact that I love that you guys love R&B and Motown. That's you know, we focus on that too. There's a lot of singers out there that no one knows about that doesn't get as much press from that time period, Motown and
Yeah,
crazy.
we
And
love that music.
yeah, a lot of people can dance I've seen people dance blues songs, Asian people, and I'm like, wow, they're so good. It's just, I got into more Asian culture in the last probably like 5 years. So,
Well, where were you the rest of your life?
You
You're
know?
Asian, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean like more focus in the like OG Yoke used to be a magazine 30 years ago, but I wasn't part of that at the time. I was old enough to be a part of it, but I wasn't, and because I lived in Virginia. So then when I went to California, I discovered Yoke, and then I look like I'm doing kung fu, but I'm not. We are just we rejuvenated ourselves just like you did into a digital format, which is this one. And we in the mission to help more Asian talents or minorities, people of color, people who will spread positive light and through their choice of mediums. It can be anything, journalism, music, film, a restaurant, you know? Yeah. So went into you took a pace test, and I Googled pace test, and I don't think it's alive right now. But
No.
yeah, because I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then IRS. So you work for the IRS as a I think you said revenue or what?
I started out as a what's called a revenue officer,
Yeah.
and ended up in the executive cadre. I mean, fortunately.
Wow. You did top tier there. You rised up.
Yeah, like I was in the right place at the right time, and again, my philosophy is if you can help somebody, um, do that. Pay it forward, and
Hmm.
I had people who helped me in my career, and I felt, as a result, I had, and I have a responsibility to help other people,
Hmm.
achieve their goals.
Well, you're helping us right now by being on as our guest. You're being
Oh,
yes, thank
I'm
you.
honored. Summer, I'm honored.
Thank you, thank you. So and then you owned a laundromat. Where did you detour on that one?
Well, it's weird because, I knew a customer at the Baby Lion whose father owned 13 laundromats and was gonna set to retire and wanted to sell some of them. And one of them happened to be close by where we lived in Los Feliz,
Mhm.
over in the Los Feliz area in LA. And so I went to see it, and I thought I could do this in my spare time. So
How old were you when you did that?
29, 30.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. Okay, so you did that before you did the pace. Okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah, I did. So we ended up buying it
Mhm.
again, like most of the things that my wife and I buy. We didn't have the money to buy it, and it's weird because whenever that happens, that usually people were around to help us finance it. So the Maytag company actually helped me finance the entire thing. So we owned a laundromat. It was, I think it was like 17 washers and
Mhm.
three commercial washers, and then 12 dryers.
But you did that while doing iOS, or iOS is after?
No, no, I did that while we owned the Baby Lion.
Okay. Oh, wow. You did two
So
businesses, and that was two different businesses.
yeah, yeah. So my wife and I would end up, the band would end playing at 1:30.
Mhm.
We'd close up shop. I'd take her home, go back to the laundromat, which was maybe 5 minutes from our house,
Mhm.
and then I would take the change out of the machines.
Mhm.
I would load the soap into the soap dispensers.
It sounds like you guys went to bed at 4 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I hired somebody to open up and
Mhm.
sweep up the place though. So, uh, somebody else would open it up and lock it up for me in the evening. Um, but I didn't trust anybody to count the money.
Of course not. Yeah, yeah. It's your business. Yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
So
would.
we did that, and it was crazy,
Uh-huh.
having the baby lion, doing the laundromat.
Mhm.
And then to top it off, we bought a house up in Los Feliz that
Mhm.
same year. And
That's such a good area. You should have kept that house.
oh yeah, the house is I looked it up on Redfin. It's worth
Uh-huh.
3.5 million. So
You did? Like, how recent did you look it up?
yeah, well, on Redfin you can,
Mhm.
you just type in an address and it gives
Right, right, right. Yeah,
yeah,
let's not give a commercial for Redfin, but I'm just saying, like, how soon did you, or how mo recent did you look it up? Your Los Feliz house, like a year ago?
maybe within the last 6 months or so.
That's good. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
so I read your author's notes and acknowledgments as well. I usually don't, but because this is such a personal book, I just like read it, and I find that answered all the questions that other people probably asked you: the groupies, the drugs, and then the um, yeah. Um,
I'm not proud of the drugs, but it was part of that culture back then.
No, but you did a really good way of saying it, in case your grandkids read this book, and when they read it,
Yeah,
it's a good way. It's like I, you still have your brain, obviously, because you're still you're still
barely.
you're still playing. You still have all the things that are really important to you besides your family. Is that your hearing, your brains, and your fingers because you're still playing. So at 78, I believe you
Knock
did
on wood.
yeah, knock on wood, yeah, yeah. So the the last thing I always do is I do the 10 questions, and I changed it a little bit to you because I like to go specific on this. What's your favorite color?
Green.
Um, what's your coffee or tea do you prefer?
Oh, coffee.
Because you were selling a lot of tea in your book, the Jingo Tea Garden and
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out in San Antonio because it's still there. Now I know. Now there's something that I usually visit Austin, Texas, but I never go to San Antonio. But now that I know about the tea garden, I'm gonna go check it out, and maybe his ghost will be there too, just visiting. Okay, sushi or Japanese barbecue?
Do I have to make a choice? I love them both.
Well, which one do you eat more?
Sushi probably.
Copy. And there's a myth about sushi that they say that you shouldn't eat it in the summer because of the heat here. Do you still eat sushi in the summer?
Absolutely.
So you're a fearless eater here. You take chances. Okay. Star Trek or Star Wars?
Neither.
Okay. Book or song?
Song.
Okay, but you did write a book. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what song do you listen to now?
Not any one particular song, but I like the Motown stuff and
Still.
R&B. Yeah.
Streaming or movie theater?
I like the movie theater. I like to sit in the back row with my grandkids and it's weird, but I like to watch them watching the movie
Hmm.
and see the expressions that they have on their faces and how much they enjoy it. And that brings me joy.
Uh, and it's right now, it's all cartoons right now, right? It's mostly animation.
There's animation, but it's like
You wouldn't take them to Jurassic World, right? How old are they?
uh, let me see. My
A lot.
granddaughter is 17.
Uh-huh.
My grandson
Oh,
is
wow.
14,
Yeah.
or he's 15 now.
Okay. So they're old. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a grandson that's 10 too.
Okay. So they can watch Jurassic World if
Hmm.
yeah. I thought they were like only 5 or something. Um,
Yeah.
and okay, so I wanted to ask you, I was gonna give you two choices of singers, but I guess I'll do hmm. I do, I usually look it up. I guess because you mentioned it, you mentioned a story about Mary Wells, and that's a sad story. I never knew that about her, because she is a really good singer. Um,
Yeah,
but as I learned in life today, because of all the YouTube and all the social media, you have to balance your mental and emotional and work life. Like it's like it has to be balanced, or you can't be happy. So obviously, it might be that she wasn't very balanced, and that's why she had her, her tragic situation. But
yeah.
but let me think. I'll name you two. Oh, I know. Okay, we'll do Booker T. Jones or who is the other one? God, I had it. Um, Woody Herman.
Booker T. Jones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have named the uh Chicano, I don't know, it's a Hispanic band. The Xavier Gu-
Kugat.
Cugat. Thank you. I am a fan of all their music. It's just like
Mhm.
music.
Yeah.
What's your superpower?
Uh,
Or what would you want to?
I think I have the ability to gather good people together to do good things.
That's good. Yeah. I meant like what would you want as a superpower? I'm sorry, I said it wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it goes both ways. I think I have that power,
Hmm.
and I try not to abuse it.
Hobby.
Uh, but I think it's important, that you make it not about yourself, that you make it about other people.
Mm.
And
You would have
pe
been a good actor.
pe
That's fantastic. Mom or dad?
it's hard to make a choice, but I recently lost my mom on June 10th of this year,
Oh,
and she was 101. So, she made it to be pretty old, and that wasn't too shabby. And she always encouraged us that we could do anything we wanted to do. And, she always provided the opportunity for us to do anything we wanted to do. And, I really do appreciate, the fact that she did that. And my dad he was somebody that I looked up to also.
hmm.
But, because of my mother living so long after my dad passed, she was probably my number one influence.
Oh. I find it in the book she was, she was still around. Um,
Yeah,
um, but I
and
noticed,
very proud that she was very proud right up until she passed of the things that I had done and that I was doing.
oh, that's so beautiful. It's the fact that you had a close relationship with your parents. It's not typical of an Asian family. No offense to anybody, for back then. It's like my my mother can't even say she loves me right now. I know she does in her actions, but she can't even say,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
not a typical Asian thing. So it's really beautiful when you have that in your relationship. Last question. Three things. Now you're like, I'm awake now. No. Three things to bring, if you had to escape somewhere, three things you want to bring in a box.
Well, I don't know if you could fit a Hammond B3 in a box, but it would be nice. It'd be nice to have a Hammond B3.
Yeah.
The second thing would be my smoker, you know.
Oh,
Uh,
the barbecue. I thought you meant like a human smoker or somebody. Like, okay.
oh yeah, yeah, barbecue smoker.
Yeah.
And I don't think I can get along without my wife, so I'd have to bring her along.
She's a given. But yeah, that's good. That's good. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you so much. I and your openness to telling more about the stories. I feel like we didn't even get all of it because your life is and your careers are so um, extensive. Especially, I haven't even in my list, I didn't even get the chance to ask you how you felt about the fashion that day, that time, when you mentioned, yeah, because I love the 50s fashion, 30s, 40s, 50s, and I skip all the way to now.
Yeah.
The 70s and 80s was not a 90s was not a favorite for me, but I noticed that you guys went all in and it was
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We wore, the white bell bottoms and
yeah, the
the
platform.
platform shoes. In fact, when I would get shoes, the
Mhm.
platforms that were standard on the shoes were too low for me. So I would take brand new platform shoes, I'd take them to the shoe shop, and I'd have them add a
Oh my
couple more
God.
layers on there. So
Oh my God.
I'm pretty tall for a Japanese, and in my heyday I was 6 feet tall. So
Oh my God.
you add another,
How
you
many
know,
inches? How many?
yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10" now, but I used to be 6 feet.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. So but then when you added the platform, how
oh
many?
yeah, I was like 6'3" or 6'4".
Wow. I couldn't tell how tall you guys were because you guys were all sitting down in your photos. And it was,
Yeah, yeah.
wow, that's pretty tall. Your kids and your grandkids must be pretty tall. Yeah.
They aren't. You know, it's unusual because my wife is taller than our daughters, or was. Now she's shrunk.
Yeah.
And I'm taller than my son.
Mhm. That is
And
weird. I've never said that. Usually I'm like taller than my mom and my father right now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, actually, I'm not as tall. My dad is 5'4", so I can't be that tall. But what I'm saying is it's so different that you are the tallest person in your family.
Yeah, yeah,
That doesn't happen often. Uh,
yeah.
but yeah, I appreciate your time with us. I'm sorry if it took long. I just wanted to get to pace it so that it doesn't rush you. And I again thank you so much, Harry Manaka. The
Summer, it's an honor to be on your show, and
uh,
let me know when if I have the opportunity, I would love to put it out on my social media. So
that's oh yeah. One of the things I want to do is can you tell me where you want people to find you? I mean, I don't need a set exact address in Seattle. I mean like like where do they find you on where you want them to find you?
well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and I also have a website. I need to update the website, but it's sanseirocker.com.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's a good one. That's a good one. Sanseiwaka.com. With
Yeah.
hyphens or period?
No, one word.
Got it.
No,
And
no space.
also, when you own anything that really like, well, I shouldn't ask you that because, oh, you know what? You own anything that's valuable to you right now?
Do I own anything that's valuable? My good health.
That's good. Good question. I mean, good answer. Good answer. Also, thank you to Team OG Yoke, and we can't wait to publish this and have everyone understand how important it is of family and friends to be supportive of each other in music, art, and life. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Summer. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope we run into each other in person.
Yeah, me too. And I'll send you videos of Jeff Louis in action in September in the Asian Persuasion. Um, um, and honoring something else. Thank you very much, something else, for your music. And thank you to editors CJ Bautista and Campbell Moonja.
Stay tuned for the next episode. Pop the yolk and spread the love. Yolk is back.